Hey guys, this is Donnie from Standing Ghost Rescue, and I'm going to do some shares with you today of some more articles, information that Brother Don Moore had sent me for all of us. I've got a severe tooth infection and toothache I've been dealing with for, I think this is day 4 or day 5. I'm not really sure. I've been wanting to do a live show, but by late afternoon, my mouth is hurting me so bad I can't hardly talk, and so I've been going to bed early, between 6 o'clock and 7, and I'm waking up between midnight and 2 each morning, and I'm miserable right now. I hurt my neck 3 days ago, so I'm dealing with severe neck pain on top of it. And so what I figured, I feel decent during the day. My neck's killing me, but the toothache is bearable, but by about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, it starts getting bad. By 5:30, it's horrible. And today it's not as bad this morning as it has been. So I don't want to be close to the camera right now because my face is swollen. And so what I decided to do was to come out here. I'm in the woods, about 200 yards that direction, which would be southeast of where we're at right now, right here. I've had a lot of activity in this spot. I'm not going back there. I'm not getting any closer. I have no desire to have any activity. I don't want to deal with them things, especially not today. I'm liable to jump up and smack one of them. I'm just joking. I would never do that. I'd be too hard pressed on running the other way. But I don't feel well and don't want to get in a bad situation. But this is a beautiful location. I love it here. And so I decided I would film this one. And if I'm feeling better this afternoon, then I may do a live show. If I'm not feeling good, well enough to do a show, then I'll upload this so that you all have something to listen to. And we thank our brother Don Moore for sending this to all of us. And this one it has photographs. They are in picture format, so I will have to, if I edit it and upload them, I'll have to take a picture of them and then add it to the video, which I can do. I just don't want to get up close to the camera, and I don't like the way I look with my face all puffed out on the side. But we're going to carry on with this. These are emails that were sent to Roger Patterson. And I'm just going to go from the top. Many of you have heard this. Many of you have not. I have not heard it. If you've heard it before, then maybe you'll listen to it again. If not, it's no big deal. You're not forced to sit here. None of us are. All right, this is the title, Bigfoot Hunter Roger Patterson's Letters from Eyewitnesses, including a Bigfoot attack in the rain from 1952 to 1967. The locations is Wildwood Park and Puyallup, Washington, a remote logging road between Happy Camp and Orleans, California. The North Fork of the White River above Lake Wenatchee, Washington, Stevens Pass, Washington, and the Olympic Peninsula, Washington. The information source is eyewitness letters sent to the former Bigfoot hunter Roger Patterson, obtained and kept by former Bigfoot researcher Dr. Grover S. Krantz. The preface, 3 letters written to Roger Patterson from Sasquatch eyewitnesses were found folded in one of former Bigfoot investigator Grover Krantz's library books, obtained from a bookstore in Port Townsend, Washington, shortly after Grover passed away on February 14th, 2002. Letter number 1, dated January 10th, 1967. Dear Mr. Roger Patterson, I'm writing to you about a true story of what happened in Wildwood Park in the wooded area of Puyallup, Washington, and was sent to Western State Hospital for it. I'm out now. I gave the police of Puyallup a taped confession of my horrifying experience 4 different times. The first time was about 2:30 in the morning. I awoke without hearing a noise, but knew something evil was outside of my tent. I could sense it. As I reached for my rifle and flashlight, the ground shook as it ran away, very fast. I left my Honda bike, packed tent, and moved next to a roadside. My second time was at a large clearing, when, at just before dusk, a very small man-like creature ran around me in a large semicircle, going into the woods just before a car came into view. He or it ran bent over with his arms almost straight down, having extra long arms. He or it was a dirty gray in color. It runs very fast, and it was light on its feet. The third time was the time I was just about ready to go to sleep in my sleeping bag, rifle loaded at my side. The brush was cracking and something moving very close in my direction. It was after dark, and I could see nothing because of the darkness. I moved out into the same open field a little over 100 feet, the same open field where I watched the small human-like creature. The fourth time, and perhaps the closest call I had, was without my rifle in the camping area of the park about 3:15 in the morning. I was awakened by a growl that sounded like a large dog. The growl wasn't very long, but scared me plenty. I moved into a shelter a few feet away and stayed on my guard the rest of the early morning till daylight. I then slept a short distance towards some houses and was not bothered except for the rain, and a few days later I gave a taped confession to the Puyallup Police Department. The woman working at the police station was a witness. I worked for the fair city of Puyallup on the sanitation department part-time for close to 2 years before all this happened. As I worked, I built myself up after I read a new book by Mr. Ivan Sanderson. My meeting of these incidents may have been no accident, for I have lived out in the open much of my life. I've learned to be very sneaky if I wish to be. I've enjoyed camping and living outdoors more than living inside. It's my nature, a born woodsman. I've read your interesting new book, Do Abominable Snowmen of America Really Exist? And I enjoyed reading it very much. I like the location of St. Helens Mountain area for the possible area of contact with the subhumans and perhaps motion pictures. I hope to find out if these creatures are safe or the possible destroyers which the Bible says there are in Genesis chapter 26. If they came to me once, I am sure they'll come to me again. In the daylight, I hope, so I can get used to their appearance and study their nature at some distance. It's only a guess, but Mount St. Helens area may be hostile because of past events, etc. It may be that the closer to civilization their area of roaming is, the safer ours may be. It's only a guess, but what happens if they become too brave? I'm hoping to go to St. Helens Mountain area sometime this summer, alone if I have to. Because of my Christian family and training, I feel I may be able to live through any ordeal with these subhumans. I don't care to hurt them or cause alarm to the public or them. This is the main reason why I waited for about 3 years before contacting people who know what I'm talking about. Thank you for your book. Sincerely, Raymond L. Horn. P.S. I thought you may be interested in my true letter. Letter number 2, dated December 10th, 1966. Dear Roger Patterson, sir, in regard to a story in the Tribune about an investigation in the manner of the Bigfoot stories, I possibly may be of some small help in locating one of these primitive species of humans. The place where I had a peculiar and frightening experience occurred between Happy Camp and Orleans, California, on a detour one night in 1952. I will give you definite directions on how to find this detour, but would first like to tell the story of what happened. I even sent this story to True Magazine, but although they said it had considerable merit, they couldn't publish it, probably because they thought I was nuts, naturally. The story in short form that I sent to them went like this. I had been reading a story by Ivan T. Sanderson about a Bigfoot monster that people had seen in Northern California. As I was reading the story, I suddenly had the eerie realization that I, too, had had a similar experience. As the story came snaking its way out of my subconscious, I began to remember more and more of what happened. I had me a bad case of the jitters as the memory uncoiled. The first part of the story took me back to 1952 when I had gone to Orleans to start preliminary work on a logging operation with two men by the names of Lee Larry and Josh Russell. One evening, Josh told me Lee had gone up to Happy Camp, but not having transportation back, wanted me to take the Mercury and go up and get him. I had driven the extremely crooked and dangerous road up there, but not being able to find him, I started back alone to Orleans. It had been raining very heavily. After going back a few miles. I found there had been a slide across the road. There was a man with a flashlight there who told me I could still get back to Orleans by way of a detour across the river. So all my pages are stuck. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. There was a man with a flashlight there who told me I could still get back to Orleans by way of a detour across the river. He said it was a dirt road that went through Bear Valley and would come out at the mouth of Bluff Creek a few miles below Orleans. I had been driving slowly down this road for about 20 miles, I guess, sort of daydreaming, when I saw it. Dimly, in the headlights and the rain, was the shaggy orangutan-like apparition of a human. For an instant, I had the impression the shaggy hair of the creature was a hoary blue-gray in the headlights. An ogre, I remember thinking, but the thing swiftly backpedaled off the road behind a tree. I automatically passed it off as imagination and drove on by the spot. Suddenly, without warning, the car went into a violent and unreasonable skid. I brought the car back under control, but for some reason glanced into the rearview mirror. In the dim light of the taillights and the license display bulb, I thought I could see a savage-looking face looking through the rear glass. I continued on, and when I looked again, there was no face, so again concluded it was just imagination. I'd gone another quarter of a mile, I guess, when across the road was a small 6-inch sapling. I stopped the car and got out, intending to drag it aside if possible. Suddenly I heard the swift thud of flying feet of something coming down the road. Reality was upon me, and I remember cursing myself for not paying attention to what I had previously seen. It was the shaggy, human-like monster I had seen in the headlights. It at once started circling around me, snarling and acting very menacing. It kept this circling up for some time. It once came up quite close, and I could see its face reflected by the headlights much better. The eyes were round and rather luminous. The hair on top of its rather low and rounded head was pretty short. Its eye teeth were far longer than a human's. Also, the chest and upper part of its torso was rather bare of hair and also leathery looking. It wasn't too tall, not much more than my own 5 feet 9 inches, although it had stooped, long-armed posture. Then it suddenly changed tactics. It would stalk off down the road, but would come charging back like a bat out of hell when I started toward the car. The hour was late, the thing was becoming more and more menacing, and I was almost paralyzed by this time, paralyzed by fear. Suddenly a plan of escape, born out of desperation, popped into my mind. Since the monster seemed to think I couldn't get away, why not? When it went down the road again, playing cat and mouse, try and get in the car and smash through the sapling. This I did, and sprang for the door of the car a dozen feet away. No sooner was I inside when there it was, trying to claw through the window. I jerked the car into gear, floored the accelerator, and can vividly remember the wet sapling glistening whitely in the headlights as the car slashed it aside. I remember then the scream of rage and frustration it then gave. It was a curious trumpeting sound like the scream of a stallion and the roar of a mad grizzly. I can imitate this scream myself pretty good, as I often practice it when off alone in the woods. The car then felt as though it were being held back by something half riding and attempting to stop it. But the powerful mercury proved too much for it, and after a couple of 100 yards, I felt no more resistance. To top this unbelievable experience off, believe it or not, I promptly forgot the whole experience. Then and there it went out of my mind. Not even the next day when Lee asked me if I had seen anything unusual on that road last night did I remember. He had come later from Happy Camp with another man he hired to take him to Orleans. A few days later, an incident happened that should have brought the experience back, but didn't. Lee noticed a big dent in the grill of the car and asked me how it got there. I told him I didn't know. Incidentally, Lee told me that something had tried to push them off the road when they came through on the detour. He said there's something strange going on around here and let the matter drop. Not until I was reading Ivan T. Sanderson's article in 1959 in True magazine did I start remembering. Oddly enough, was this a trick played on me by a man in a monkey suit? I don't think so. Anyway, I went back down there in 1959 looking for it. Walked that detour alone at night, equipped with a .44 Magnum, a flashlight, and a camera. You might have an experience. And you might have an experience. I've been thinking about doing it. Wow. Sincerely yours, J.C. Orr. This is email letter number 3, dated September 1st, 1966. Dear Sirs, I am responding to your advertisement in the current issue of Popular Science and am enclosing a check for 2 of your books. My first encounter with physical evidence that aroused my interest in this matter occurred some 10 years ago in the rough valley of the North Fork of the White River above Lake Wenatchee. Found these huge tracks on a sandbar unlike anything I have ever seen before, about 16 inches long with the second toe imprint longer than the first, or big toe. I started through the library searching for an answer then and have continued my research ever since. The best source is, without doubt, written by Ivan Sanderson, An Abominable Snowman, with which I'm sure you are familiar. It may even be the source of information for your own publication. However, I would like to personally correspond with you regarding any personal information that you may not have included in your book as to where I might find other sources of information that I may not have previously known about. It is indeed a fascinating subject. For your further information, my uncle, a former timber cruiser, and his college-age son last summer ran across Sasquatch tracks in the Cascades just north of Stevens Pass that still had water filling them as it crossed the mud near a creek. These were about 18 inches in length. He has the exact measurements at his home in Wenatchee. It was going the same way on the trail as they were, and he quite frankly admitted that they proceeded with cautious steps around corners from that point on. I also heard of a sheep herder on the Olympic Peninsula encountering one last summer, and of course the news services made great sport of that, as is usual. I have no knowledge of the name of the man, as I got the story second-hand or third-hand. I am enclosing a news item you may not have seen from the Spokesman Review, August 16th of 1966, which should be of interest to you. Regards, Zerrell R. Johnson. And then these are the photographs. And I'll put these photographs up for you, and most of them have a little narration under them to explain what the photographs are. But the photographs are right here if you're going to take a look. Guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. I will be back in action very soon. I'm going to try to do a show tonight, but if you're seeing this in video, then my mouth ain't quite up to par. I don't know if y'all just heard that. I don't know what that was. It sounded like something being thrown through the trees. I don't know how well the microphone's going to pick it up. I've got the microphone inside of my shirt, so you may not have heard it. But that was back. If you did hear that noise, that was that direction. And that's where all the activity on this property comes from, is that way. Oh, neck is so sore, so sore. But again, thank you all for watching it this far and listening to these amazing articles and stories that our brother Don Moore has been sending to us. Don has been really good to all of us here, and me and my family. I love him to death, and he's really supported what we're doing here. And I want to thank him personally. Don, thank you tremendously, and I absolutely mean that. I love you, and we couldn't have done these past dozen or more shows without your efforts. And I thank you greatly. And guys, y'all have a wonderful day. God bless each and every one of you. If you need to reach out to me, my email is standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com. I've been a little behind on the emails because my mouth has hurt me so bad, my neck, that I haven't been reading anything. I've been sleeping when I can. When I get home, I sit on the couch with a rolled up towel behind my neck. And that's where I'm fixing to head again. My neck is irritated quite badly. Oh. And so I'm going to head toward the house. I'm going to load this up. I got a little ways to go to get to the car. There's definitely something over there. I don't know if y'all heard that. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here. I'm just not going to play that Y'all have a good day. God bless you all. And I'll definitely be seeing you soon. I love each and every one of you. Until the next time, be safe always. Just as a side note, I'm really thankful that the activity, when it started back there, it started right as we were finishing up those email letters to the former Roger Patterson. As I'm headed home, I got my tooth medicine in the car. I got to put on. I don't know if you can see my face right there, but it's puffed out and on my neck. So I'm gonna go home. Y'all have a good day. God bless you.